Are you preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance exams? BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA, your one-stop solution for all MBA exams related questions. Watch unique strategies to ace CAT, XAT, SNAP, IIFT, TISNET, CMAT and other important MBA entrance exams. Tips and tricks to boost score, subject-wise and chapter-wise sessions, previous year's questions, exam-related update and notifications, live exam analysis and actual questions discussion. So why wait? Subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA YouTube channel and press the bell icon to stay updated.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep and welcome to this next session. I'm really sorry for the delay. Exactly at the moment when I had to start the session, my computer hanged, the laptop hanged. I had to restart it and I had to reset each and everything. It took some time. So really sorry for the delay. I'm sure that you all must have reached on time and I always start my sessions on time. So of course, you must have came according to that only. So yes, everything is fine in my opinion now. So can you please confirm it to me once? Is everything okay? Can you all hear me and see me properly? Hi Ekta, hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon Susmita Roy. Good afternoon Kamranul and good afternoon to all the other people. So can you just confirm it once to me? After that we'll start with our session, an important session. Probably many of us would be looking for this, that how should we go ahead if we start on our preparations from today. Okay, so either because of some reasons we could not do it before or we just decided to go with it, so that might be the reason, whatever the reason is. So if we are going to prepare for CAT and we have decided it now or we have started preparing now, how should we go about it? This is what I'm going to discuss in our today's session. Okay, so yes, everything is okay. Sushmita says all is clear. I am assuming that the other people also have no problems here. There are no operational issues now, though there was a slight delay in the beginning, but now everything I think everything works fine now for everyone. Okay, so I think we can start with our class now. So exactly as the name of the session tells you, what are we going to discuss? A complete CAT preparation strategy for all the beginners. As I said, a beginner can be a person who just started preparing for it. Beginner can be a person who probably decided before but probably could not do a good preparation till now and now has become serious that okay, now I have to probably start from the scratch and I have to do everything. So how am I going to do that? This is what I'm going to discuss in this session. Okay, so yes, looks like everything is fine. Kamranul also says it is clear. Others are also saying it is clear. I think we can start with our session now without any further delay. So what is the agenda of the class? As I told you, the agenda of the class is the preparation plan for CAT 2022. Though I am assuming that all of you know that I mean on which date we have this exam. CAT 2022 is going to be there on 27th of November. Though the notification is not out, but it has always been there on the last Sunday of November. तो इस बार का last Sunday 27th November को आ रहा है. So therefore the exam is going to happen on 27th of November. That is something that we already know. We can say कि इसके बारे में हमें पहले से पता है. Okay. So how do we move ahead from here? What all things are we going to discuss? So let's start discussing with those things. The first thing is that what is the agenda? And with this agenda, actually, I am trying to make this also clear to all of you guys. I mean, whoever is able to see me, that when you are preparing for CAT, so what do we mean by that, preparing for CAT? I mean, how should we go about it? How should we start? What all things we should keep in our mind? All those things I am talking about over here now, as it is there on your screen. Okay, just give me a moment as well, a moment more. There is some problem again. So it looks like my laptop is not working properly today. Okay. I hope it is okay now. ठीक है, it will move ahead. ठीक है जी. So what all things are there? So this is a structure that I have shown you on the screen that every student must follow when you are preparing for CAT. The first thing is that know your exam. Honestly speaking, if I talk about many of you guys who are listening to me right now, I mean, if I ask you the day you decided to, do MBA, you must have decided that, okay, I'm going to write CAT. The next step that we do is let's start preparing for CAT. Let's go to some training institute or let's talk to some teachers or our seniors and then start preparing for CAT. But I think between these two steps, there is a very important step that almost everyone skips. That is knowing your exam. Have you ever appeared for an actual paper of CAT? I'm not saying appearing on the actual day, but because the exam is, let us say, of 2 hours or 3 hours, have you ever tried it by yourself at home? कि घर बैठ के एक दिन जो है ना पूरा पेपर करके देखते हैं that how many questions I am able to attempt, how many questions I am not able to do. ठीक है, तो वो सारी चीजों के बारे में क्या आपने कभी भी सोचा है? हैव यू एवर थॉट अबाउट इट? Generally the answer to this question is no, that no sir, we have not done that. We thought that we will go to a coaching institute, probably they would only tell us that what exactly is the exam. So first step which is very important for all of you to do is know the exam first. You can take some actual CAT paper and try to solve it, or get an idea from different sources that what exactly is there in the exam, because nowadays you can't be actually completely dependent on one source, because that might not be that trustworthy. After that, the second step is, once you see the exam, then you get to know that what is your destination, where to go, right? And what is your current situation, what is your current position, current location, where are you right now? So when you write that exam, you get to know that what all CAT would be asking you, plus you also get to know that vis-a-vis at what step I am right now. So this will give you an idea about the path that you have to travel. At least I'll get to know by my destination and my origin. Only then I would know how much time it is going to take. It's like a TSD question. If I do not give you the distance, I do not give you the speed, how can you calculate the time taken to travel it? So that distance would only be known only you have the origin and destination with you. The speed can be decided by you after that, that okay, at this speed I should move so that I'll take this much of time to reach over there. The exam, I know it is on 27th of November. The third step, after that, once you know that this is the destination, this is the origin, this is the speed at which I have to move, now the next point is that to reach there in this much of time, to attain this speed, what should I do? How should I reach there? I mean, I have to go from Delhi to Chandigarh in, let's say, 2 hours. How should I reach there in 2 hours? Probably I can take a car, but I'll have to probably move at a speed of 150 km per hour. Then should I take a flight, right? But if I take a flight, probably if I go there, it will take some time to reach the airport. I have to reach before time, and after that I'll be going there. That also has its own problems. So there are different ways of doing it. Which one would be the best for me? That is the next point that we are going to discuss over here, right? The next one, once you get to know about all the things, कहाँ जाना है, कहाँ से जाना है, कौन सा source हमें use करना है, after doing all those things, then the next point comes that let's start working on it. अब इस पे काम करना शुरू करते हैं, right? Now we'll start working on this. Start working means let's start reading things, let's start doing the concept, whatever is needed, let's start with that. And after that, I reach my destination. This should be the path that should be followed by each and every student. And once this structure is clear to us, right? After that, we know that what is to be done. फिर हम लोगों को एक clarity आ जाती है. What all things are needed, right? कि अच्छा कैसे चलना है, क्या क्या पढ़ना है. So everything should be focused toward which step. वो सारी clarity आ जाएगी, then we'll be able to do that. So in today's class, we'll be discussing all these steps one by one. हम लोग इनके बारे में बात करेंगे. How should we move ahead? And will be a complete strategy. Whatever your questions are, you can ask me those as well towards the end of the session, probably related to something that I am currently discussing. You can of course ask in the middle as well, but generally I probably would not be able to answer some of them at that time. You can ask me those at the end of the session. How much time is required to clear a CAT exam? Reels Guru, actually there is no answer to this question, right? If I ask you how much time is needed to become a good batsman in cricket, how would you answer? Okay? यू वुड से अच्छा किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हो, पहली बात तो मुझे ये बताओ। एक ऐसा आदमी जिसको बिल्कुल ही क्रिकेट नहीं आता, एक वो आदमी जो 2-3 साल से खेल रहा है, एक वो आदमी जो ऑलरेडी रणजी में खेल रहा है, तो ये बहुत सारी चीजों पे डिपेंड करेगा ना उसके हिसाब से। मोर ओवर वो कितना टाइम लगा सकता है, उसकी किस तरह की एबिलिटीज है, सो ये बहुत सारी चीजों पे डिपेंड करेगा। देयर कैन नॉट बी यूनिक आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन। Last night I downloaded past year papers from 13 to 20. Should I start with sectional tests like this? Sushmita, you will get an answer to this question. How should we do those? But first of all, let me tell you, 13 से 20 तक के actual papers आपको मिलेंगे ही नहीं, because CAT actually never released them. CAT released papers from 2017. तो 17 से 20 वाले जो थे ना papers, वो तो आपको मिलेंगे original. But before that, they would be memory based, would not be the actual ones. इस बार कैट के लिए मोस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चन वाली सीरीज नहीं आएगी। Zain, we have time. I think we can do that towards the end of the this time period, around October, November. That time it will be more important. Okay, everyone, I think we can move ahead from this now. Let's move ahead. After this, the next step that we have, okay, that is the first step. As I said, first of all, know your exam. पहले तो पता लगाइए एग्जाम में आता क्या क्या है। So knowing the exam is the first important step. As I said, many people just skip this step, but I would request all of you to pay attention to this part, that what exactly is my exam, क्या क्या है उसमें. Okay, so there are 3 sections, that is verbal ability and reading comprehension. Second section is data interpretation and logical reasoning. Third section is quantitative ability. This is section number 1, this is section number 2, this is section number 3, exactly in the same order, exactly the same order. So every year CAT asks you these 3 sections exactly in the same order. Pehle first section, फिर second section, the third section, that never changes. Here I am talking about the old model currently in 12th. Then you have a lot of time reels, Guru, I am sure. बायजू से डाउनलोड किए तो उसमें लिखा होगा सुष्मिता that 13, 14, 15, 16 वालों पे it would have been written that these are memory based, और उसके बाद वाले authentic होंगे सर। हाँ जी, सो अगर मैं ओल्ड मॉडल की बात कर रहा हूँ, ओल्ड मॉडल मींस टिल 2019. आई एम श्योर दैट यू ऑल नो दैट देयर वाज अ चेंज इन 2020 एंड 2021, ऑफ कोर्स बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड, but till 2019 this was the structure that CAT was following. In 19, 18, 17, 16 this was the same structure. 34 questions in verbal ability, having a total of 102 marks. 32 questions in data interpretation and logical reasoning, 96 marks. 34 here of 102 marks. These are the non-MCQs. I'm sure all of you know about this, that CAT does ask you questions now which are of non-MCQ nature. Non-MCQ means that there are no options in some of the questions. So these are the non-MCQs, and for each section you had 1 hour. Yesterday also someone was asking me about these, order of these sections. So let me tell you, you can't change the order of these sections. Also, when you are on a one particular section, you can't go to the next section or the previous section. So on whichever section you are, you have to stay on that section. You can't change that. That is the first thing. That was the old model. In my opinion, CAT is going to be on the same old model this year, though no one knows what is going to happen this year. Till the notification is out, we won't be able to know about it. In my opinion, it would be going back to the same, because now the COVID days are almost gone, so probably they can come back to this. But when I talk about the new model, that is 2020 and 2021, in this new model, the exam was actually of 2 hours. Each section was of 40 minutes. The total number of questions, though, they were changed. The structure that I have given over here, it is for 2021. In 2020, we had 76 questions rather than 66 questions. So यहाँ पे 66 questions थे हमारे पास. So 72 marks का VARC था, that had 24 questions. 20 questions in data interpretation and logical reasoning. 22 questions in quantitative ability, and almost in the same proportion the non-MCQs also decreased. But is this model good? Is the old model good? Of course, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. Disadvantages like a 3-hour paper sometimes is too lengthy for the students. They can't sit for 3 hours, right? 2 hours is probably quite doable that way. Similarly, when I talk about only 2 hours, for example, in a section like data interpretation and logical reasoning, it is so important to choose the right sets to do. So somehow it becomes luck based as well, that in those 40 minutes, have you chosen the right sets or not? So either you are God, who has to do all the questions of DILR, who can do all the questions of DILR, whether it is difficult or easy. Otherwise, for other people, it matters which set you have chosen. So possibly you chose the wrong set. It took your 15-16 minutes. Your complete section is screwed then. But if you pick the right sets, probably you can score better than the other guy. You might not be as good in the mocks with respect to that person. Still might you have scored well. So that's a possibility here that might happen. Okay. So okay. अभी यूपीएससी वगैरह के बारे में रील्स हम लोग बात नहीं करेंगे यहाँ पे. Let's stick to our point. Now the next point is what should be my goal. Okay. So there are some category of colleges that you can put into. I would say that A plus category is basically the top IIMs. IIM A, B, C, L, I, K, Shillong and all, right? Along with that, we have FMS, we have IIT Bombay, we have SP Jain, we have XLRI. These are almost all those kind of colleges. You can say that an overall percentile of 99 should be the target of a person if you are looking for these, with a sectional percentile of 85. You might say, sir, does it mean that A plus colleges would be calling you at a 99 percentile only? The answer is no. Even if you have more than 99, you are not sure into these. Even if you have a 90, you might get one of these. That depends on a lot of other factors as well. As you know, that CAT nowadays is not the only criteria of getting into these colleges. You have your profile, your work experience, your extracurricular activities, and there are a lot of other things that are important. For example, gender diversity, academic diversity, and your 10th, 12th sports and etc. There are so many things which would come into picture, right? But yes, this is almost on an average, you can say this should be your target if you are looking for these colleges, A plus colleges. When I talk about A category colleges would be colleges like the newer IIMs, you can say, right? So after the newer IIMs, you have colleges like MDI Gurgaon, you have colleges like IMT Ghaziabad, you have colleges like NITI Bombay, though of course these are pretty good colleges, but slightly below these IIMs or FMS or SP Jain. So I would say a target for these colleges should be around 95 percentile with a sectional percentile of 80. Then we go to B plus category colleges. So B plus category mein you will have an IMI Delhi, you have a Ford School of Management, you will have UBS Chandigarh, you will have XIM Bhubaneswar, and there are a lot many colleges that would come under this category as well. For all these colleges, if you are targeting them, so an average percentile that you should be targeting is 90 with a sectional percentile of 80 again. And for the other colleges, I would say an 85 would do. Yes, I would say if you are having somewhere around less than 80 percentile in CAT, probably you would not be getting a good college at that percentile. Though at that stage, we always advise to write CAT again. But that depends from person to person. I mean, वो refer करेगा मतलब किस तरह का केस है उस पर depend करेगा. Okay. How to choose the right set? So Smita, we have taken sessions on that as well. You can find those on BYJU'S exam prep channel only. Here probably we will digress if I talk about that. Is this advisable to do certification courses now, or should I only focus on percentile now? Then I would say that you should only focus upon the CAT percentile, right? You can take any certification course if it is not hampering your study much, right? But if you feel that somehow it is making a dent on my preparation, better is to focus on the percentile at this stage. Okay. So this is the goal for you. Now the first thing is, sir, how do we decide our goal? I can understand that. I mean, you probably would be in the same situation that I was in my younger days. I never knew that. Of course, everyone wants an A plus category college, but everyone feels that, okay, probably I can't get those, right? Though my dream would always be a college like IIM Ahmedabad, but probably not everyone can reach there. Okay? So in that case, what should be my target? What is the realistic target that I should put for myself? In that case, I would say do one thing. First of all, check out that what is the score versus percentile, at what percentile. I mean, when I'm talking about these percentiles, so how much should you score to get that percentile? How much should you score to get that percentile? So these are some of the comparisons of CAT 2021 to 2016. These are the older pattern CATs and the other ones are the newer pattern CATs. Newer pattern CATs are actually of 2 hours. The older ones are of 3 hours. So at what percentile, what was the score corresponding to that? You can check it on this page. Okay. You can always take a screenshot of this, or you can also check it from the recorded session, that at what score, what percentile was there. I've just given it for your reference that if you are trying any of these exams by yourself, so whatever score you are getting from that, you can check that okay, at this score I can expect a percentile like this. This table is only for that. But now the question is again there, sir, how do I get to know that how much would be my score, right? How much score can I target? What should be my dream score? What should be my target score? So ये भी मुझे कैसे पता लगेगा? For that I would always say, do one thing, ठीक है? Okay, but before I go to that, this is something about the sectional ones as well, right? I put that too so that you can check it later on. That if you check your verbal ability and reading comprehension, at what percentile, what are the scores that you would be getting? These are the older patterns, these are the newer patterns. Of course, things might change a lot as well. As you can see here, an 80 percentile was at a score of 30, whereas here it was at 47. Similarly, here it was at 41, it was at 53. Though these two are approximately the same in both the years. That means the level of difficulty of verbal ability in 2017 was much lower than that of 2019. Okay, so that is about VARC. Similar picture for logical reasoning and data interpretation. Mostly they are almost the same. Sometimes they might change a lot as well. As you can see over here, 44 and 53, they differ by a lot. 34, 38, 27, 32, they also differ by 5. That is approximately more than one question at the same percentile. So it might change. Same when I talk about quantitative ability, it has almost been the same almost in all the years. But again, in 2020, you would see that quantitative ability was slightly on the easier side with respect to 2021. So these are the figures that will give you an idea how much percentile you can expect at a certain score, section wise and overall. Okay. Now, when I talk about today, how do you get to know at which level you are and how much you can expect? What should be your target? So what is your status at this stage? To know that, first of all, write any 3 mocks of new pattern, right? I mean, you can do that by writing 1 mock as well. You can do that by writing 2 mocks as well. But probably I feel that 3 mocks would give you quite a fair idea about your current status. Because in one exam, you might probably become very nervous and you might score much lower than your ability, right? That's a possibility. And there can be a beginner's luck as well, that whatever guesses you made, they were all correct. And because of just 4 or 5 questions, your percentile might change from 80 to 90. That's a possibility. So therefore, at this stage, do these things. And after that, whatever percentile you get there, by checking these tables that I have given you. So now, whatever percentile you are getting in your mock, this tells you that currently your percentile in CAT is close to 70. That means if today you are getting 50 percentile from these 3 mocks, that means today you can get a 70 percentile in the actual CAT. If today you are getting 60 here, you can expect an 80 percentile in actual CAT today. Similarly 70 here, 87, 88. लेकिन ये आपका percentile आज का है. This is not your target percentile. This is the percentile that probably you would be getting if today you sit in the exam. Okay. So after that, when you talk about after preparation and then you appear for CAT 2022, I think you can set your targets accordingly. If you are currently, I would say you deserve a 70 percentile in CAT. So in CAT 2022, you can expect somewhere around 90 to 95 and you will have your preparation according to that. A guy who is getting 80, he would be looking for a 95, 96 percentile. A guy who's looking 87, 88, he would be wanting a 97, 98 percentile in CAT. So that ways you will choose that what is my percentile that I should target in the actual CAT exam. Of course, I am not saying a person who is getting 70 can't get 99 in actual CAT. You can, right? But I'm just keeping a realistic figure as per an average guy. Of course, if you are very studious, you can get more than that as well. That is also a possibility. But this is an average percentile that you can look for. If you achieve it before that, of course, you can then always increase your targets. वो आप हमेशा कर सकते हैं. तो मतलब वैसा करिए कि खतरे का निशान जैसे ही रीच हो जाए, खतरे का निशान ऊपर कर दीजिए. So that can always be done. Okay, you all can do that by your choice. Okay, Ganesh has a question. Hi sir, मैंने अभी प्लान किया है MBA entrance देखा, but the problem is I am at ground level. So is there any possibility to crack MBA entrance exams or not? Had there not been a possibility, Ganesh, we would not have had this session. Otherwise, I would have had a session of CAT 2023. We are having a session for 2022. That automatically means that yes, it is quite possible, but yes, with a structured approach. Should we write section-wise mock or the whole paper in one go? I would answer that as well, Sushmita. On the upcoming slides, you will find an answer to all your questions. Okay, everyone. So now, what should be the strategy to crack? I would say, if you look at the 2021 percentiles, a 70 percentile was at 36 marks. And what do I mean by 36 marks? Approximately 12 questions. 12 questions in a total of 2 hours. What do we mean by 45 marks? That means 15 questions. What do we mean by 59 marks? Approximately 20 questions. What do we mean by 71 marks? Approximately 24 questions. So can you see that a little push can take your percentile from 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 95, and this can be done very easily. Just 3 more questions can take you from 70 to 80. If you are getting 70 percentile in CAT today, by getting 3 more questions correct, you can turn it to 80. By getting 5 more questions correct, you can turn it to 90. And by having 4 more questions correct, you can take it to 95 percentile. Why can't a person target 95 percentile today who is getting 70 percentile in CAT today only? In these 4 or 5 months which are left with you, can't you just say that, okay, at least I can prepare that much, that I can do 12 or 13 extra questions in my exam, क्योंकि इतना तो मैं already कर ही रहा हूँ at a 70 percentile. So I am talking about a kid who is getting 70 percentile today. If you are getting a 50 percentile today, I would say your target should be and a 50 percentile. At what score a 50 percentile would be there? Though I'm not very sure of this, but I'm very, I guess it will be somewhere around 6 questions. This is my guess. So on 6 questions in CAT, you are above 50% of the Janta. By doing 6 more questions correct, you can get a 70 percentile. 6 questions in the whole exam. Just think of it. I'm not saying section wise. क्या total paper में 6 question नहीं हो सकते इंसान से, है ना? You can easily do it. So if you are at 50 percentile today, I am saying 50 से 70 तो you can reach probably in 15-20 days. 6 extra question. आप आज 6 ही question तो कर रहे हो. Just find out the easiest 12 questions of the paper out of 66. Just find out 12. Do them. Forget about sectionals. You are good in English, do 12 in English. You are good in Quant, do all 12 in Quant. But get 70 percentile first of all. Sectional percentiles would matter only when you go above 85. Otherwise, sectional percentile के फायदे ही कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है? मेरा सारा मैं तीनों में बराबर परसेंटाइल लाया सर. एक बच्चे ने आके मुझे बोला, लेकिन तीनों में 20 लाया. ओवरऑल परसेंटाइल मेरा 35 है. हाउ मच दैट मेक अ डिफरेंस? तीनों में 20 लाने से क्या फायदा होगा? You want a good percentile overall, only then you think of the sectional percentile. Otherwise, just do this. I think this slide can tell you very easily that a little push can take you from a percentile to a very high percentile, and in these coming days, that is easily doable. I think you can just see the path. If you are at 70, looking at this slide, you can say, यार 70 से 95 है ही कितना मुश्किल. Let's target 3 more questions in the first month, 5 more questions in the second month, 4 more questions in the third month, and you are at 95. Simple. That's it. उसके बाद 2 महीने और बचेंगे. उसमें देख लीजिएगा 95 से जितना भी ऊपर जाना है. Oct-Nov. Okay, that's a difficult name. Sir, I'm preparing from Arun Sharma sir, and I'm easily solving LOD1 from there. So can I crack it by self-preparation? I would say that if you are able to do the easier level questions fast, then I would say that probably you can score a good 75-80 percentile at this stage, right? But when you move ahead at a level of difficulty 2 or 3, you always need someone to tell you those questions. Self-preparation sometimes stops you at a point where you are not able to get any hints of the questions. It stops there. So therefore, sometimes that help might be needed. On the easier levels, of course, no help is needed. That you can do easily anyways. Okay. So how much time is left for us? So we have a total of approximately 22 weeks, which is approximately 21.5 weeks though. So that's somewhere around 5 months. So approximately 5 months are left with you. In these 5 months, what can you do? How can you improve your scores? This is what we are going to talk about today, right? So I'll be talking about, first of all, what you can do in July and August. Then what can you do in September and October? And after that, I'll talk about November as well, that how should you divide your time for preparation in these months and how should we do that? That's what we are going to talk about now. Okay. So I'm sure that till now everything has been understood, everyone, right? And if you are getting my points, if you like the session, do press the like button as well. Do not forget that. We will move ahead with the strategy part now. Towards the end of this, you can ask your questions, whatever problems you are facing. I'll give you 2-3 minutes to ask those questions and I'll answer them. Just keep them typed with self, with you. जैसे मैं पूछूंगा एकदम से पेस्ट कीजिएगा और पूछ लीजिएगा. चलिए. So what should be my plan for July and August? So according to me, a plan for July and August should be something like this that I am discussing now. First, I'll talk about VARC. After that, I'll talk about logical reasoning and data interpretation. And finally, I'll be talking about quantitative ability. So for VARC, I think in the first 2 months, plan 2 hours every day, right? So you have to spend at least, this is the minimum time which I feel you should be spending. Spend minimum 2 hours on your studies every day for VARC only. Out of these 2 hours, 60 minutes should be spent on reading articles and 60 minutes should be spent on solving RCs. And you also have to do at least a sectional test per week. Why am I saying so? Here, everything what I have done, I am talking about reading articles, I am talking about solving RCs. RCs are reading comprehension, here also reading. Why am I talking about reading, and reading? I am talking about this because the actual exam would also be about reading. Your 70% of the VA section is only about reading, right? Reading comprehension is approximately 70% of your VA section. So why should we not talk about this, right? So therefore, reading is the most important part for us as far as VARC is concerned. So you have to read a lot of articles, you have to solve a lot of RCs. What kind of articles should I read? Where from should I read? Which RC should I solve? We have taken sessions on those as well. You'll find them on our channel itself. Just go through the other videos as well. Once you explore a little bit, you'll find those videos as well where we have talked about it, that which all articles do you have to read. Do you have to read Indian article, Indian Express's editorial, or the Hindu's editorial, or what is Aeon? Where from should I read? Should I read Harvard Business Reviews or not? So there are a lot many things that would be there in your mind. So everything has been discussed in those sessions as well. But because it is purely reading, so you have to spend at least 2 hours every day on reading for the first 2 months, that is July and August. After that, when I move on to DILR, what should we do? Now, DILR is assumed to be the toughest section among the all three. It is the toughest section among all three. Though it is assumed, I also feel it is actually tougher. And you will find that the percentiles which are there in DILR with respect to the scores, right? So the scores on those percentiles are the lowest in all the three sections. I mean, at a score of 15, what percentile you would be getting in DILR, it will be higher than the other two sections. So therefore, that makes it DILR a little bit difficult. Plus, a person might be already good in verbal ability with respect to you because of their, I would say, background. Similarly, a person can be good in quantitative ability because other than you, again because of the background. But in DILR, everyone is at the same level at the beginning. So from here, you can improve and you can always be at least equivalent, if not better than all the other candidates, right? You can definitely do good in DILR. So therefore, I feel you should spend more than 2 hours on DILR every day, between 2 to 3 hours, right? Out of which 1 to 1.5 hours should be spent on logical reasoning. Why? Again, because mostly in DILR sections also nowadays we have logical reasoning. अगर लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में आपके सामने 8 सेट्स आएंगे, 8 में से हार्डली 1 और 2 वुड बी फ्रॉम डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन. अगर 6 सेट्स आएंगे, सो अगेन 1 और 2 वुड बी फ्रॉम डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन. 4 सेट्स आएंगे तो 1 और 0 वुड बी फ्रॉम डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन. So normally this has been the structure of DILR. The DILR mostly asks you questions on logical reasoning rather than data interpretation. Yes, but nowadays they have started asking questions which are using LR as well as DI. Right? So therefore, I would say you should spend some time on calculation based DI as well, so that not only you are preparing yourself for DI, but you are also preparing yourself for those questions which include both of them. Also, you must do 2 sectional tests per week in DILR and previous 5-6 years of CAT actual papers for DILR. This must be done in the first 2 weeks if you want to start your preparation for DILR. I hope you are getting my point here. Okay, I can easily solve it in a minute without calculator. So try the other ones as well and see how good you are at those. Should I give mocks in starting my preparation, and also tell me, okay, where I get articles for VARC? Articles of VARC, Arnav, would be there on your other videos, right? As I said, on BEP only, we have taken other videos as well. You'll find the articles over there. From there, you can get those, right? This is not the class actually on that. It'll take some time. About the mocks, I will be talking about it right now. Okay, let's move ahead from here. After that, when I talk about quantitative ability, I know that many of you would be knowing about this. Approximately 40% of the paper is arithmetic when I talk about the QS section, not paper, but the QS section. Approximately 40% of the QS section is arithmetic. And then we have, after arithmetic, the second biggest area is algebra. The third biggest area is geometry, then number system, and then modern math. So I would say, so cover the most important area, that is arithmetic, in the first 2 months. I'm sure that with arithmetic, covering algebra also in the first 2 months only probably would not be easy. So cover number system, because it's a long area, though not very important from CAT's perspective, but you have questions from number system in many other exams as well. So please do that and do all level 1 questions of all these concepts. All level 1 questions. Now, what is a level 1 question? A level 1 question, I would say, is an easy question, which is directly based upon a concept. For example, I have studied the formula of successive percentage. So a question in which he says that a customer came to a shop and the shopkeeper said that I will give you 40% discount. The customer said, please give me another 20%. So what is the final price for the customer? So there is a successive discount of 40 plus 20. You have to use the formula and answer the question directly based upon the concept. This is called a level 1 question. Many of these level 1 questions would be there in your exam as well. Do not think that CAT would not be asking us level 1 questions. That is not true. Every year you have many questions which are from very direct concept based questions, right? They are also there. The only thing is you have to find out those. Moreover, the point is not straight away to do those questions which would be asked in CAT. The point is to understand the concept, to understand the basics, और वो पढ़ने के बाद only then I can discuss about level 2, level 3 questions. Many students say, sir, we have less time. If we start doing only the concepts or level 1 questions at that time, in this time, how would we be able to clear the concepts of CAT? Okay? Or the kind of questions that CAT would be asking you. It is like they want to say, sir, step 1, step 2, step 3 छोड़ देते हैं. Let's straight away start preparing for step 4. That can't be done, right? Unless and until you have a foundation, you can't build anything on it. You have to make a very big building within 5 months. You feel this cannot be made in 5 months, and you start looking at, okay, let's do one thing. Let's not make ground floor, first floor, second floor. ऊपर के floor बना लेते हैं. Is that possible? That is not possible. It is exactly like that. So you are thinking of not building the base, just making the building. That is impossible to do. So please keep that in mind. If you want to make a good building, if you want to make a good foundation, for that you always have to start from the basics and then move on. If you do all level 1, level 2 questions, you are still possible, you are still, I mean, in the range of 90 to 95 percentile in QA section. मतलब सिर्फ level 1, level 2 के questions करके आप 95 percentile ला सकते हैं. So इसलिए छोड़ के सीधे level 3 कर देने का कोई sense नहीं बनता. Do not do that. Okay? Then when I talk about the mock plan, how much should we do in these 2 months? I would say write 2 mocks only in July month, because you just started. So of course there is no point writing so many mocks in the very first month, because when you are studying the concepts, probably you might start feeling demoralized as well. कि मैं पेपर दे रहा हूँ, ज़्यादा स्कोर नहीं आ रहा. That might be a possibility. So just write 2 mocks in July and write 5 mocks in August. Write 5 mocks in August. But the analysis of these mocks is the most important thing. In every session we keep talking about it कि सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज अगर कोई है तो वो है एनालिसिस ऑफ द मार्क्स. Always pay attention to that. What do we mean by analysis? Check in the paper what all did you get right. If you got it right, did you do it correctly, or did you just guess it but by chance you got it correct, or you made two mistakes and finally you got it right. Sometimes this also happens. You are doing a question, you made a mistake, then there was some other mistake, but finally somehow you reach the same point, right? You got the right answer, but that's a mistake. Rather, that's a I would say worse mistake, because you made two mistakes. Fortunately your answer got correct. So that is what we mean by analysis. Also, what did you get wrong? और जब आपका गलत आ रहा है, जहां पे जो गलत हुआ, did you do it by calculation? Calculation की वजह से गलत हुआ, or you somehow read the question wrong, your interpretation was wrong, or somehow you got the answer correct but you marked it wrong, or your concept itself was wrong. Also, about what all questions you decided to skip, what all questions you decided to do. Did you skip any easy questions? Did you do any difficult questions? There are so many things which is a part of the analysis. All of you must pay attention to the analysis more than appearing for the mock itself. So according to me, this should be the plan for you for July and August. Let me take some questions now if there is any. So till now, no any questions, no further questions. Please ask me whenever you have any questions, just write them in the chat box. I would be happy to answer all of those. Next, after that, आगे बढ़ता हूं मैं इससे. Next, we talk about the plan of September to mid-October. That's 1.5 months. In those 1.5 months, because you are going closer to get, I would say, increase some time for VARC. Again, spend all the time on reading articles, but now also start working on para jumbles, para completions, and para summary based questions. So these kind of questions now you have to start working, because approximately 65-70% of VARC section is reading, but the remaining 30-35% is from these areas only. So you also have to work on those. So at this stage, I would say start reading articles, start solving RCs, and along with that, start working on your para jumbles, para completions and all, and start doing one sectional test ke bajaye two sectional tests every week. In the previous case, I told you one sectional test per week. Now it should be two sectional tests per week. This is how you go ahead in the VARC section. Then, when I talk about DILR, as I said before, it always need more time. So now you should do at least 4 sets of logical reasoning every day for approximately 1.5 hours. Every day use 60 minutes on calculation based DI. Do 2 sectional tests per week, and now continue with the previous year CAT actual papers. Previously I told you do only last 5-6 years. That means the newer CATs. Here you can start doing 2008 CAT, because till 2008 CAT actually released the papers. So 2008, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 इनका जो भी LRDI में आया है, do all of that at this stage. Start doing them, because when you do the previous questions, not only you get aligned with the kind of questions that are asked to you in these exams, but also you get an idea that what is the question looking for, right? Plus you will also know that what are the kind of questions are they asking, and you'll get that confidence. Okay, I am doing the questions which have appeared in the actual exam, right? So when you have done, let's say 50 sets which have appeared in CAT already, you would always start feeling now 51st would also be there, even if it is from CAT 2022. How much difference does it make to me? मैंने तो ऐसे बहुत सारे सेट करे हैं, वो भी उन्हीं से मिलता जुलता तो होगा. It will not be difficult for you, right? So a person who has played on Perth pitch of Australia for let's say 6 times, 7 times, Sachin Tendulkar would have played so many times. When he would be going the next time, he would not be feeling that heat. ठीक है, मतलब I have already dealt with it, so now I know that what all things I need to take care of. Problem would be to that guy who's going there for the first time. He does not know that how much bounce is going to be there, how much heat is going to be there, how fast is the pitch. So how do we deal with those things? वो सारा उसको पता है जो आदमी पहले कर चुका है. So करने का basically previous year paper करने का सबसे बड़ा फायदा यही होता है. Next, when I talk about quantitative aptitude, so in these 1.5 months, so I would say ये गलत लिख दिया शायद मैंने, alternate days 2 hours. Every day spend 2 hours on quantitative ability as well. Now in these 1.5 months, I would say complete your algebra concepts and geometry concepts. Do level 1 questions of these topics. Along with that, you also have to do sectional tests of arithmetic and numbers. At least 10 sectional tests of arithmetic and at least 5 sectional tests of numbers. What is the sectional test? In which the complete arithmetic would be there, right? लेट अस से टेस्ट ऑफ 15 क्वेश्चंस और 20 क्वेश्चंस ऑफ अर्थमेटिक, जिसमें सारे अर्थमेटिक के ही क्वेश्चंस होंगे फ्रॉम वेरियस टॉपिक्स. Similarly, number system के at least 10 and 5 from arithmetic and numbers, that should be done. And when I talk about the mocks in these 1.5 months, I would suggest do 5 mocks in September. Okay, 5 mocks in September and 3 till mid of October. So that means 8 more mocks. As I said, mocks से ज़्यादा important है analysis of the mocks. Always pay attention to that part. Also at this stage, I would also say mix up the mocks of different institutes, right? It's not necessary that whichever institute you are enrolled in, you have to write the mocks from that particular institute only. Because if you take different institute mocks, you will get an idea about different, structures of papers. And of course, people who are making these questions, they also have different mindsets, right? So different variety of questions would be available to you then, and you will get to know, okay, a plethora of questions is there that I have practiced all these kind of questions, that if the actual exam asks me any one of those, I would be comfortable with that, right? So there are many institutes which give you some open mocks which are absolutely free for you, right? So they keep giving these schemes. So through those schemes, keep writing all those open mocks. You should not leave any one of them, and learn the art of attempting mocks now. So at this stage, abhi tak aap mock likh rahe the, you were analyzing, you were getting which questions are right, wrong, etc. Now the important part is you also have to learn that which questions I have to choose, which questions I have to leave. I have to take some difficult decisions as well. I know the question, but I have to leave it. ठीक है, ऐसा possible है, because the question is lengthy. The question is easy, but not from my strength area. Still, I would be doing it because this is directly based upon a simple concept which I know. So that art also you have to learn. So till now, we just know one way of doing the paper. First, that we have to do each and every question. Second, write the complete solution, check the answer, match it with the options. Third, there's no negative marking according to us. So there are many things that we have to learn according to CAT's exam, right? कि कैट के एग्जाम में क्या स्ट्रेटेजी अडॉप्ट करनी चाहिए. कई बार क्वेश्चन छोड़ने भी पड़ेंगे, right? Sometimes you can do directly the questions by using options only. Sometimes you can do the questions by assuming some numbers. So you have to learn all those things. Similarly, when you are going to DILR, which set is to be done, which is not to be done, which is the most difficult thing, right? If you ask me, many people keep asking, sir, कैसे choose करें right set? इसका आंसर हो ही नहीं सकता 1 मिनट 2 मिनट का, आधे घंटे का भी नहीं है, right? There is no simple strategy for this. Only with the time, with practice, you will understand कि अच्छा ये सेट करने लायक है, नहीं करने लायक है. Okay? So I hope everything is understood to each one of you. Please keep telling me whenever you have a question, and we move on to the last leg of our session today. That is a plan for mid-October to the exam, that is November end. VARC में I would say spend some time of 2.5 hours. Keep spending your time on reading articles. You can, change the topics here. You can do that. You can, move more towards CAT specific types. For example, there have been many questions in CAT which are based upon history. There are many questions which are based upon anthropology. There have been questions based upon sociology, psychology पे बहुत सारे questions CAT पूछता है. तो उसकी तरफ मैं थोड़ा सा shift कर सकता हूँ. Those are the topics which generally we are not interested in, but in the last leg we can probably start doing those as well, so that we become comfortable with reading the different kind of questions, different kind of topics, right? Also spend time on RCs, do a PJs, para jumbles, para completion, para summary, and do sectional tests, because when I talk about VRC, it is all about reading, and then learning how to solve RC questions, how to solve PJ questions, PC questions, but it is purely reading, primarily reading, right? So उस पे आपको ज़्यादा ध्यान देना है. Then comes DILR. Again, as you were doing before, 1.5 hours of LR, at least 4 sets, 60 minutes on different types of LR now. Forget about calculation based DI now. Now you can go to different types like puzzles. Puzzles based question आजकल CAT बहुत पूछने लग गया है. Questions based upon metrics, questions based upon grid, वो सब आप यहाँ से समझ पाएंगे कि किस तरीके से करना है. 2 to 3 sectional tests per week you must write now, right? DILR में you have to become extremely comfortable and do all mocks unsolved questions. At this stage, I would also say one more thing you can do. आप ये भी कर सकते हैं कि आप Z के IAFT के जो LR के सेट्स हैं, DI के सेट्स हैं, start doing those, because those also are of very good standard, right? kind of questions that have appeared in Z and IFT, they are pretty good. So जो mocks में बच जाते हैं वो वाले questions, plus you can also take the non-CAT exams questions from DILR. Similarly, when I talk about Quant, start spending more than 2 hours now on Quant. Do all previous year questions from CAT. Till now, I have not asked you for that because in Quant, I think, first of all, the concept is important. You have studied arithmetic, you have studied algebra, geometry आपने कर लिया, आपने number system कर लिया. Now it is about modern mathematics, plus start doing previous year paper questions of CAT. Start getting an idea what kind of questions do appear in the CAT exam. And do not worry about the weak areas now. अब मत सोचना इसके बारे में, यहाँ वो वक्त नहीं है. Previously you have already figured it out कि यहाँ मैं weak हूँ, यहाँ मैं ऐसा हूँ. Weak का मतलब सिर्फ इतना होना चाहिए that in weak areas you should do all the basic concepts and level 1 questions. Strong areas का मतलब ये है where you can do level 3 questions and you have understood the higher concepts as well. Otherwise in the other areas you should be able to do at least level 2 questions. Weak area does not mean I would be completely skipping it. इसका मतलब ये नहीं होता. और strong area का मतलब ये नहीं I have to do a question of strong area if it is there in CAT, चाहे वो 20 मिनट ले ले. Strong area means just by looking at the question you would be able to decide कि ये करने लायक है या नहीं करने लायक है. Weak area का मतलब है पता नहीं लगता. And sometimes when the question is easy, then I would do it. If it is difficult, I would probably skip it. This is what we should do and spend more time on sectional tests as far as Quant is concerned in the last 1.5 months. And when I talk about the mock tests, 4 in October, 6 in November, and these 6 in the first 3 weeks, nothing in the last week of November. Till 20th of November, write a mock on every third day and then analyze it properly. This should be the mock plan. Focus on accuracy now over speed, right? That is why have I written if needed? Because for some people it is already there. For some people the accuracy is always good, but they are lacking in speed. So उन लोगों के लिए बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. But some people, they spend more of the time on speed initially rather than accuracy. So this is the time when you look on your accuracy. Do not change the strategy now. This is the time to actually make your strategy perfect, right? ये time है उसको एक finishing touch देने का. That you have already been practicing a strategy in the last few mocks and now you have seen, you have experimented a lot. Finally you saw this strategy suits you the most. तो जो आपको सबसे ज्यादा सूट कर रही है अब आपको उसको परफेक्ट करना है. You don't have to change your strategy at this stage. This is what you have to keep in your mind. Okay everyone, so that was all from my side. So now whatever questions are there, if you want to ask anything, please tell me. I would be happy to answer, right? So please write it in the chat box. Also for all the people who are appearing for Maharashtra CET exam, we are bringing an MBA crash course, right? So from July 1st, it will be 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and you just subscribe to BYJU'S exam prep on our YouTube channel. You will find it over there, right? So we are doing these sessions on the YouTube channel. Also, if you have found this session useful enough, please do press the like button. Please comment on this session about whatever your queries are. People who are not attending it live, share it with the people who are preparing for CAT. And do subscribe to BYJU'S exam prep channel for all these kind of things, because as some people said कि सर ये बता दीजिए वो बता दीजिए. Someone asked sir articles बता दीजिए कौन कौन से पढ़ने चाहिए. Someone said DILR में how do we select the right sets. Someone said कि QA का मतलब क्या structure होना चाहिए. How do I start with that. All these sessions have already been taken by us. So just subscribe to the channel. You will get to know about all those things. Okay. तो notification आएगा, उसके हिसाब से जो भी आपकी जरूरत होगी you can choose those. Sir, where can we see schedule of BYJU'S open mocks? Amrit, I think it should be there on the app itself. If it is not there, you can always speak to the number given. So you can just talk to the counselor and they would be able to help you out with it. But yes, if you are on the Telegram channel, right, of BYJU'S exam prep, so there of course you would be getting all those details. Okay. Otherwise, you can call up at the given number and they would be able to help you out. Okay everyone, so that's all from my side. Thank you very much and a very good day to all of you. See you soon in the next session. Till then, bye bye and take care.